Wives love it if they fuck something up and then you ask them why they did that. That's always like a good probing question. Try it. See how that goes.
Welcome to Not Right Now, the podcast about parenting through all of this.
I made these beautiful short rib tacos that took like 2 days to cook. And I was putting them on the table and I made like an Asian slaw and some like cilantro, lime rice. And James asked Steve if next week they could have real tacos.
Can I
So,
ask a question about this? Because I've been thinking about it. In a world where, again, we're trying to be self-aware, is this your fault? Like, why the fuck did you make tacos for 2 days for these idiots?
I did something stupid, which was that I paid attention to something they had liked earlier. Yeah, so I had my stupid little note that said, boys liked, boys enjoyed, I enjoyed. And also, you don't have to deal with this because you're a vegetarian, but like short ribs are very fatty meat. So there's a lot of labor in terms of scraping off the fat because I'm not a boomer. So I was extra mad about things.
You deserve to be.
Yeah. Well, I said to my friend last night, I was like, it was one of those mom moments where I was like mad and then it kept growing. I was like, first, like just lightly pissed, and then it grew.
No, you got to keep building. Right when they think it's over and they're like, oh, all right, finally we get a moment. That's when you really kick it into fucking gear. You know?
Don't ever let them rest.
That's a good opportunity for and another thing where you bring up something that they thought was buried weeks or months or even years ago. And they're like, I haven't left the towel in the bed in forever. You're like, well, guess what? I'm still fucking hanging on to it. That's always fun. Not the same thing as like hand making short rib tacos, but we literally had a family meeting where we sat down and part of the discussion was, okay, I know it's confusing. Like grandma's got her groceries and her stuff in the fridge and she likes to make you some meals, but you guys are particular and we have our stuff. So we took the fridge from our house and we put it in grandma's garage. And I was like, that'll just be like any groceries I get for us, that'll go out there. And, they're like looking around trying to figure out how to make their lunches in the morning. I'm like, I get it. We'll get the stuff. Write down the list. Here's the no's, as we've discussed. And what else? Get it, put it in the fridge in the pantry the next morning. Just exasperated fridge closing. What's the matter? It's only 7:02 and they're like, there's no food. Not the things you specifically requested in your own fridge, you motherfuckers.
No. I would be curious to know how living with your in-laws is the same or different as living with like your first roommates. The rules and the passive aggression.
But isn't living with your kids that way? Dana and I talk about it all the time, which is you go from growing up with siblings maybe, or a sibling, which has its pros and cons, and some people it's mostly pros, some people mostly are all cons. And then maybe some siblings get left alone with their parents if the older sibling graduates, right? And now you're like, oh, this is all on me. And then college, maybe some roommates, could be weird, could be great. Single, graduating, maybe a roommate, so it's affordable. And then you're like, I'm done. I'm going to live on my terms, on my own. I'm going to take the hit. I'm going to decorate this fucking place I want. If the dishes are in the sink, that's on me. And you learn some things. And then you have babies, and it's fine because you're still in charge. But then all of a sudden you look around, you're like, I got 3 roommates who don't fucking do anything. Again.
I live with 3 men, well, 4 if you include the dog.
We don't demean Ollie on this show.
No, although he deserves it. He ate some of my one plant that I have and peed on the floor. So, he's not necessarily in the good boy list. But in college, my senior year, I lived with 5 girls. And by far, I would rather live with 3 men than 5 women, like 5 young adult women. There was one night I was out of town and they had a party and they let someone throw up on my bed and didn't clean it up. Like that kind of stuff. At least my kids, I can, I have the fortitude to yell at them. I can boss them around. You had to worry about, being a young adult. So this is still better, even though I did have a little tiny studio apartment on Lakeshore Drive when I was in my 20s. And it was so great because you could see the lake, you could see Wrigley Field. And it was just like a perfect little nook just for me. And part of me was like, I wish I was like a rich lady who just had a pied-à-terre in the city to, when you need a place to stay downtown. But
that's basically what this office is for me, it is my escape. No, grandma's been great. I think I mentioned it before. If I was 84 and had been living by myself for 20 years, I would have some really weird shit when a family of 5 moved in with me. Like I would have some lines in the sand that I was going to be very disagreeable on. Hers are very few, and what are you going to do? So they're still the problem. She's fine.
Do they call her grandma? And do you also call her grandma to her face, or what do you call her?
It's a really good question. She is grandma, and my mom is Gaga. I believe that started early. As you know, like the first one, whatever they get out of their mouth is what the grandma is. She insisted on grandma, and that's what it is. Sometimes I go by grandma, sometimes I go with grandma's name, and it depends on the season,
And what do you call her? Just by her first name to her face or
Well, that's what I
nothing?
mean. For me, she's
Okay.
always grandma to them. Show some respect. But yeah, sometimes I'm grandma. It depends. It depends.
Okay. What's the Halloween plans, by the way? And
Yeah.
who's dressing up as what? What's the scene?
No, those are all really good questions. Halloween is tomorrow, apparently.
I was saying, like, we shouldn't talk about Halloween because, like, it'll be past date, but let's face it, by the time this comes out, people's decorations will still be up, pumpkins will still be decomposing,
Oh,
candy,
yeah.
the
I mean,
the
you remember
candy
when we
times.
first met, my 12-foot skeleton was still up. And by the way, ugh, I didn't put it in storage, and Dana's so mad. It's literally like in the house that has been deconstructed. It is the only thing in a bin. And the kids are like, when are we going to put it up? I'm like, wait, tomorrow. So we'll put it up next week in front
Okay,
of grandma's
perfect.
house. Grandma will lose her shit. I couldn't tell you what dumb thing a 12-year-old is going to be. He's like,
Mm.
it's this and this. I was like, you know what? I regret this whole conversation. Girl, I think she's being a football player with a few friends, but not like an outfit,
Oh,
not the complete thing. But it's going to
okay.
be in like the 40s, so good luck. Don't care. And 9-year-old was like, I don't know. I guess I'll be the Mandalorian again. I'm like, but you're a foot taller and your costume's in storage. So, my United States Postal Service shipping alert for his Mandalorian costume still says, as usual, it hasn't come yet.
Have you ever seen a child at your door and been like, "Well, your costume is ill-fitting, so I judge you and your parents."
Yeah,
Okay.
100%. I was under the impression I was going to do one of my, so last year, because we're just fully in Wicked season again here. Last year, Halloween, I was Glinda. And then for our hometown premiere, which we do this big hometown premiere, it's super fun. This year's going to be twice the size. It's like almost double the size of my wedding. Last year I was at the premiere, which was super fun.
Mhm.
Those are both in storage. I think I know where they are though, so I could get to them. But yesterday I was informed by my daughter that actually Dina and I are both going to be bakers and that our dog Lucy is going to be like a cinnamon bun,
That's
something of that
adorable.
nature. I guess
That's very
so. So as usual in the what fights do you choose? I was like, okay.
When you dressed up as the witches, did you do full drag, like makeup and wigs and everything, or just the outfits?
I got to tell you, I didn't do makeup because one, which I had no interest in shaving. I used to shave this every summer when the kids were growing up because I was like, it's hot and it's a chance, this and this. I fucking hate it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done. It's not going anywhere. So makeup makes that harder. Obviously not impossible. Plenty of drag folks do that and good for them. I was like the pizza face kid forever, all over. And any amount of shit on my face, it's a fucking nightmare. And it doesn't just look bad, which I genuinely don't care about. You're the only person in my life I see. It's that it feels fucking terrible. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't have it in me. So
Yeah.
everything but the makeup.
Okay.
I would
All
do
right.
eye stuff and things like that, but anything here is a nightmare, which is part of the reason I have this.
Okay. All right, fair enough. And I guess you're not buying candy because it's not your house, right? Did you
Not
or
my house, not a ton of trick-or-treaters in our neighborhood. So we actually go to a friend's neighborhood, which is pretty banging. And that's good. And it's safe. And so the kids now they just run. They disappear and we kind of walk
yeah.
around.
Have you been inside a grocery store recently?
I try to go more often now.
I just think you should go to see the Wicked stuff just because it is every time I go, I see so much Wicked merch and I think of you guys and I just wonder if you see it around.
I have seen it. So I'm looking at somebody sent me a picture of Below Five, which apparently is a store. Five Below. That's great. Thank you so much. Of a rack there, which looked fucking insane. I am aware of some of it, not only because you can't miss it, because it really is like Star Wars and it's Halloween season, which is genius on their part. But also, so for this hometown premiere, we try to, I know you and I have talked about like less stuff over and over,
Mhm.
but we try to make it fun for the kids and stuff. So we get some merch and Universal sent us some merch. And then last year, Dana did like a raffle wheel, basically, and each
Mhm.
kid like got something. So we got a
Mhm.
closet full of stuff. I'm not buying
Cool.
like junk, but like fun things that the kids like Fiero
No,
dolls
I
and
mean, I think it's fascinating, the tie-ins, like, there's some, I wanna say, like, Entenmann's cake, and you bake it and you open it up and you see if it's green or blue or green or
I would
pink
fuck up an
inside, things
Entenmann's
like
cake.
that.
I've been dairy free for 20 years, but I would risk it all for an Entenmann's like cheese filled thing.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, men like almonds. Like, when I'm feeling really generous, I bring the donut sampler, with some of the glazed donuts. Not for me, just when I want some goodwill,
Yeah, just give me the crumb cake all day.
Interesting. It was funny because we'll talk more about this maybe later on, but I was away with a friend this weekend, and she's very crafty, which I am not, and she was handcrafting her daughter's K-pop Demon Hunters costume, whereas Paul, our 13-year-old, first he wanted to be a Daft Punk guy, And I was like, look forward to seeing how this turns out and how people will know that you are a Daft Punk and not
Mhm.
just, like a motorcycle rider. This didn't
Mhm.
come to pass. Now he says he's going to be a surfer. We don't own a surfboard or anything that resembles a surfboard. We have an ironing board and it is going to be a high of 53 tomorrow. But I don't care. And then James is my preferred one Halloween wise because we have costumes left over and he just found a hot dog costume and he put it on and it suits him so well. You're like, you were born to wear this. Like it's
Mm.
just little like tea in his head with a little
Mhm.
sausage, so he's got that. So I like him at least he picked a costume that's an actual costume that we own. But
What are you gonna be?
well, I have a Halloween poncho that I bought several years ago that was way too expensive. It looks like a skeleton, like a spider web kind of skeleton things. I'll put that on. But I was thinking about dressing like Paul and just asking Steve, give me your biggest hoodie. Let me find like some workout shorts and then borrow Paul's Crocs. Maybe have a Gatorade water bottle.
How would Paul handle that gentle mockery?
He would probably tell me to stop, but also might be pleased by it, possibly. I don't know. I don't think he would mind it because I wouldn't be like teasing him per se. I just like dressing like him. And I do often borrow his clothes sometimes, not often, but sometimes I'll pop something on. So it's not completely
You're such a
unusual.
boy mom.
Well, it's my right. What are you going to do if you don't own, the clothes are there and they fit, if the croc fits, wear it. So,
Yeah, no. Can I ask you a question? What is Taki water?
oh, so Steve, my husband, took James, our younger one, to Steve's office yesterday because they're working on creating this little village out of cardboard, these little houses. I don't really know what it is. I think it's something for Steve to work on his camera with. And James had eaten a bag of Takis. You know what Takis are?
You've
They
told
are,
me. I don't remember.
yeah,
They're the chocolate
they're,
stick things or they're the hot fries?
that's Pocky.
Fucking
Taki is like a rolled up, sour and spicy kind of Dorito, basically, with the same powder. And so James had eaten his thing of Takis. And Steve looked over and James was sitting on the couch trying to pour the Taki powder, this like red powder, into a water bottle filled with water to create Taki water. And Steve said, don't, in his own nice way, fucking stop doing that. And he got up and walked out and came back and saw that there was Taki water all over the couch. And he was like, what the fuck is this? And James said, well, I did that before you told me to stop. So Steve said,
Do you
when
ever
you,
wonder how we got this far? So there's this great book I think you would love. It's called Eve, How the Female Body Drove 200 Million Years of Evolution, something like that. Wonderful, incredible scientist, writer, researcher, Kat Bohannon. It's funny too. It's great. She reads the book. It's fantastic. It's a thick one and it's great. But basically, what you learn, first of all, if you have been present for human being pregnant, trying to be pregnant, being pregnant, and or delivering a baby, however it works, you understand like it's 2025 and it's still fucking perilous. But she makes a really good effort to describe like, compared to the rest of the animal kingdom, we're a fucking nightmare. Like it is,
mm,
everyone else is like fine. Like it's
right.
totally easy. And when you consider that and how dumb boys are, just so dumb, because it's the rule of if this, then what else? Not only I'm going to make this Taki water, I'm going to make it on this couch, and I'm going to say, well, I spilled it before you told me, so then it's not eligible for being in trouble. If this, then what else, Claire? Like, how did we
Oh,
get here?
well, sometimes it makes me wonder if it's possible that the phrase girls run the world is not actually accurate. Like, how did we fuck up so bad as a sex that we are so superior in every way and we
Every
also have
way.
no power? What is happening? So I also am just like, oh, how about how that water tasted? Did it taste good? But yeah, that's just another, genius thing to handle as a mother. Very proud of my kids.
You ran that incredible survey a few months ago, which was like everyone's favorite survey. And I believe it had a bottle of water on it. And it was like, whose job is it to get rid of this? So
Yeah.
imagine that's the bottle full of Taki water. And
Mhm.
imagine it's in the same spot. It's summer, so it's warmish. It has been there for, let's not be egregious, 4 days.
Mm.
Real answer, how much for you to drink that bottle?
What's the temperature outside and how sunny has it been?
It's warm. I mean, it's 80s. It's been sunny, so it's really warm too. Also, at least one of your boys, you don't know if it's both and you don't know which one, has also drank out of it occasionally. So there may be some backsplash. So real answer, how much? You got to drink the whole thing.
The awful thing is that I don't need $50. Like we'd have to start going up higher. Let's say at least 100, probably more like 2, 3, 350. I'll say 350. You could maybe get a hotel room with that. So yeah, I'll say 350. I have to swallow it. It's the warmness of the bottle, a warmed up, cooled down, warmed up plastic bottle. The talkie part is actually like secondary to that. And also the baby mouth aspect of it, knowing disgusting little kid has been sucking on it.
It's like
So
when they would give you their little water bottles back, little baby Nalgene's when they were little, and there's just chunks. And you're like,
yeah.
where do what is that?
Why are you saying that's not still happening? Do you know how many water bottles are rolling around in my house downstairs? Like Paul had that one I told you, he has a bottle called Circle. I think it's spelled like Cirkl or something. And like it has like some flavor tabs so that the water is water, but then when you drink it, you taste the whatever the fuck it is. And he's been slurping it and slugging it. And Steve was so sick of the noise. And then, of course, Paul has to piss all the time because he's just been slugging this water. Anyway, this was like the hot shit, and now it's just rolling around the floor downstairs, like along with all of our other things. So par for the course. I just saw a friend of mine who has 3 sons, so I was like, well, at least I have it easy, and I don't have a third one
Mhm.
on. But she told me, I'd be curious to know what you think about this. So my kids' class is pretty small, and as far as I know, like they all get along pretty well. But my friend who I saw, she works in the school, and she said that she saw a kid trying to give my son a wedgie, like in the
Old
playground.
school. Okay.
Yeah, she said my kid did not look upset, but she was, like, worried about him because this other kid is much bigger, and so she very much was like, I did not seem like he was in distress, but I've been thinking about how I would bring this up with Paul, possibly just to be like, "You okay?" You know, I was thinking about just saying, like, not announce it because you always know that some big shit is gonna come when I'm like, "Can I talk to you?" Yeah, I was thinking about just saying, "Your friend's mom noticed this, just wanna check in, everything's okay." I don't know. I don't know. Because I know that with teen boys, like, if you go in too hard, they back off, and I don't wanna imply that
Mhm.
he's, like,
Mm,
a
mhm.
victim, but
I try to do as much as possible for any conversation the driving side by side thing, where eye
mhm,
contact doesn't need to be made for their benefit and for mine, whatever the
yeah,
conversation. But it is hard. I told you, like Dana got upset because she got burned. She went right in, and they were like,
mm,
Absolutely not. We're
yeah,
not doing it this way." And now
r
maybe not at all. I think she's
yeah,
definitely earned her way back, but she was scarred, which is
yeah.
understandable.
My kid he's young for this grade. This kid is
Mhm,
old for his grade. This kid
mhm.
is taller than you, possibly in 8th grade, and I do know, I mean, I don't know if you've talked about this and I've read about this. I think it's not easy to be like the really big kid when you're young. Like it's not much easier probably than
Uh,
the super small kid.
Relatively easier, still not easy for entirely different reasons. Yeah, it's not super fun, but that doesn't mean you don't use it sometimes, which is
Mm.
shitty. For sure. No, bullying has no place. Wedgies are great. To be clear, if you're gonna bully, like wedgies are pretty great, but
I'm surprised they happen. I feel like you would think at a school, you can psychologically torture someone, but touching underwear,
yeah, but
like,
this is like a conversation about the Roblox versus would you rather them be predatored or would you rather them like break their ankle falling out of a tree offline? Like I would
mm,
rather my kid get a wedgie than, like have their penis doxxed and sent all over the school or something, you know?
yeah, or hearing that like my friend's school, that someone drew a hate symbol on the wall with a bodily, I wouldn't say fluid, a bodily substance. And yeah, so things could
Mm.
be worse. And nobody gets through life without getting, like I just mentioned, I got bullied in college because someone threw up on my bed and thought it'd be funny. So, I guess nobody gets out alive. So I guess I just thought his little brother would be the main bully in his life.
Yeah, Henry definitely bullies Oliver a bit, for sure. It's kind of fun.
Okay, so back to Halloween real quick. What
Yeah,
is
no, hit
the
me, because I know you
you
hate Halloween.
well, I don't hate Halloween. It's not my favorite. I hate it less than Thanksgiving, but I know you're such a healthy, like maha guy. Like, you seem like you're probably eating like yogurt covered craisins as your candy. What is your secret?
I'm like the meme about the guy with the dominoes. It's me like deciding to eat vegetables only 15 years ago, and then we got to Maha somehow, and now there's no vaccines anymore. It's funny. One of my kids yesterday, I don't care which one, said, "Hey, Dad, what do you think of this trunk or treat thing?" And I
Mhm.
said, "Here's my take, and it's going to be annoying, kids." I said, "There's a lot of streets in America, especially right now, not awesome for kids to be wandering around in the dark by themselves, and every kid should get to trick or treat. It's just fucking fun, right? It's time outside with your friends." So I think any opportunity to do that, and it's like a community block get together, if you're a suburban or whatever, sure, great. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't love that they're everywhere. Why the fuck does my neighborhood have one?
Mm.
That's just like extra dumb candy shit for kids with zero effort required. So I think that is dumb. So my take is, yeah, Halloween, great. Go get your candy. I hope somebody's giving out full bars somewhere.
Well, what are you eating? Like, when your kids come home, you're gonna have a metric
Oh,
ton when they go to bed while they're not watching.
first of all, now they keep track. It's a fucking night.
And also, like, fuck it. They should see you taking it and eat it in front of their face and say,
Yeah.
"This is, like, just scratching the surface of what
Yeah,
you
yeah,
owe
yeah.
me."
Just the tip. Yeah, no, 100%. I'll take that tack tomorrow night. That's just what it is. I think I got to go peanut butter cups first
Mm,
for sure. And if there's a double in there, that's great. I'm just taking the whole thing. Or would it be more fucked up to take one and leave the other half? I don't
that'd
know.
be diabolical.
Yeah, there's layers to it. I've always been a Snickers guy. Milky Way doesn't have enough texture for me. Whatever the coconut ones are fucking gross. And I like
No,
like
yeah.
Samoas are my favorite Girl Scout cookie. I'll do coconut. I'm not a like for somebody who works above a old timey candy shop. I don't love. I don't need sugary shit. To
Yeah.
each their own.
I know
But
you. You're probably handing out, like, a handful of grapes from your house.
yeah, no, I'm giving out like athletic greens. No,
Mhm.
that stuff is probably just as much fucking poison. Yeah, I don't know. That's chocolate. It's like anything chocolate, chocolate and
You're
peanut
not a
butter.
pretty chewy guy.
No, I don't need it. I don't need it. So that's it. I'll take down that stuff. I'm not going to say no to a Butterfinger, right?
Mhm.
What are the other options out there?
Well, I went to give out candy. I decided to try to offset my own cravings, so I bought, like, the gummy chewy things, so, like, Nerds and
Mhm.
Plenty, whatever anything chewy and fruity, I don't like,
So
so
you
that's what I
got
got.
what you don't like. That's a veteran move. That's strong.
Well, I know it's gonna be coming in for sure. I remember last year, I think I really lost the thread, and I was just mainlining, and you go from the large chocolate, Reese's cups, and then as, your standards lower, they get smaller, and,
Just fistfuls.
yeah, in the basement, and so I was like, "This year, I'm gonna try to not eat as much candy, we'll see." But I forgot that Paul, my older one, is a sweetheart, and he always brings me he knows I like Reese's cups, so he'll bring me one, like, as tribute, and I feel like I must always eat it if he gives it to me,
Yeah, that's the least you can do. I have a couple
Yes.
questions.
Mm.
One, have you fucked with Justin's peanut butter cups?
I see those, but no,
The dark chocolate ones?
I don't like dark chocolate, really.
Maybe they make milk chocolate ones now. I don't know. And I think
Okay.
they do almond butters, but the
And he
dark
does
chocolate peanut
almond,
butter
yeah.
ones are fucking good. Expensive, but as a treat, real nice. They also sell the bags, the little ones, and I put them in the fridge,
Mm.
and those you can just fist. The moral of today's podcast is fisting,
Oh.
which I've also never understood. I'm on this fucking diet.
Mm.
I got to go to a premiere in 11 days, Claire. I can't take down 2 buckets of fucking candy right now.
Well, candy doesn't make you fat, it's just sugar, so it's only bad for you, but I think you could eat candy and not actually gain weight, it's just, the chemicals, and that's my theory.
That's fair. But I think it's about volume because once you get to volume, it's like, well, I'm not eating one peanut butter cup. I'm either
better
eating all
save
of
it.
it or none of it or all of Charlotte's candy.
You gotta bank that candy actually and save it for, like, when you're coming home from that'd taste so good when you're, like, coming back from the premiere,
Mhm.
and I think you should pack a little, and it'll taste better if it's your own candy that you brought versus, like, buying it like like a schmo at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Dana brought this from some version of her childhood, and we've adapted it over the years that our children can trade in their candy for money. Have I told you about this?
No, this is smart,
Mm,
interesting.
I had never heard of this, and I was a little bit like, let them eat their candy. And then this makes so much more sense. And then Henry game the system. So I don't remember what the exact breakdown is, but it's basically like you can trade in any amount versus these tiers. So full size, whatever. So that's 2 peanut butter cups or full size
Mm.
Snickers or whatever. That's $1. Then there's snack size, right? Is a quarter. And then something is a dime.
Okay.
And whatever that something is, at some point, Henry realized he had hundreds of them one year.
Mhm. Yeah.
And he was like, well, I'm trading all this in. This kid made like $50. He was like, I don't need this fucking candy. Like, he doesn't give a shit, but it really works. So you sit there with
Yeah.
him. You're like, spread it all out. You guys can trade whatever you want. I don't care. You want to toss stuff out. Here's the deal. I was like, but start with the stuff. It's like Marie Kondo. Does this spark joy? Put it in
Right.
the giveaway pile and then do a second round. These kids hook up. They made $20, something like that.
Yeah.
It's very helpful. And then you are like, I'm going to go through this way. The stuff you got rid of.
I mean, I like the idea of it. I also hate the idea of me losing money because I'm like, who's profiting? What's the upside? Like, what are
I'm
we
profiting because they're not like it's less time for the next week or so where they're fucking candy monsters.
See, I have a kind of system where we'll let the candy be out for several days and they'll kind of hide it. just have it out of sight, out of mind. And then I'll sort of quietly scoop off portions to send to school or like maybe the fire station
That
or,
stopped working for us years ago. Now they're counting every piece. They don't
yeah.
fuck
Well,
around. I used to be able to
even
make it all disappear.
Steve and I used to laugh because a long time ago, before we had kids, we were in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin for a 4th of July parade and they were tossing out candy and we were catching it. And my friend's mom said, "Now, Lisa, don't forget, candy's fun to collect, but not to eat." And Steve and I were like, "Candy's fun to collect, like whatever." And then cut to now, by far, like the kids go home and they eat. Actually, Paul's smart. He eats a lot of it before he gets home just to, like just eat it before someone sees it and
Mhm.
maybe wants to take it from you. You go down to the basement, I have pictures of them, and it's like Inception.
Mm.
It's all and I like candy is fun to collect, actually.
It
It
is
is
fun. I totally get it. We sit out and we spread it around and it's all fun. And now it's a Friday night, so I don't have to yell at them. They got to get up at 6. Yeah, it's fine. But I don't mind if this cuts it in half. I'm fine with that.
when you were a young adult and like in high school and college, were you like a Halloween party monster? Because I remember in college in Georgetown, like M Street would be just a total shit show of, the sluttiest costumes and the drunkest guys. And there's always that guy who's wearing a big fat, like big fake set of tits, like, cause nothing's funnier being a woman. And then there's a guy who dressed like a huge cock just walking down M Street with his balls dangling down by his feet.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like I remember more of, and this is some combination of I'm very old, alcohol, and like contact sports. Like I remember more of my youth when I was like a vampire 4 years in a row
Mhm.
than high school through college. I don't know the answer to that. It's pretty
I
sad.
I feel like there's certain things where I feel like you would think I'd be a more creative person, and then things backfire. Like, for instance, I never wanna read out loud to my kids at night because 'cause I'm tired, which you think would be like the opposite because I love to read, or I don't write my kids' lunch note, and you think that would be easy for me because 'cause I'm a writer, and then for Halloween, I think I just had too many costumes not execute or feel like I was like the Daria, like, mad in the corner where my roommates were, like, sexy, slutty, whatever the hell, and so
Sexy Jane Goodall.
yeah, you're just
Right.
but I'm, like, a Halloween hater because of that for a long.
I get it. I get it. I mean, it's always been fun. So I think part of the thing is, and again, the fact that I can't remember a lot of this probably is like your note getting wasted. I'm sure it was. One, we didn't really have cameras. And two, it's like in college, yeah, in the fall, like I was swimming from August to fucking April. And we could only go out on Saturday nights after a meet.
Mhm.
That was it. No other nights because we were in the water at 5. So maybe they gave us off like the morning after Halloween, but I don't really remember that being the case. So probably pretty boring. But it was also in a fraternity, so God knows.
One of my favorite parts of getting older, and I noted this on Substack, but it's really true. There is a certain time of a woman's life I've noticed where she quits trying to be like, first there's the sexy, there's like the sexy costume or the friend costume. Then I noticed a couple of friends of mine really lean into like truly the witch aspect. Like I have a friend who's dressed as the witch from Snow White, Ursula, looking great. And then something happens where all my friends start dressing like men and going in real hard with the muscly chest thing. Someone sent me a picture of her friend dressed like Richard Dreyfuss from What About Bob? And it made me so happy.
Incredible movie.
I saw another woman that I think is beautiful and she always seems so well put together. And she was dressed like Napoleon Dynamite. And she like even had like his whole like mean. And I was like, I love you more than I ever thought I could. Like there's
Mhm.
something about switching like that makes me
No,
really
I
happy.
think that's great. I think that's great. Yeah, I would love to be more creative. To me, it's what is the line of achievable, I'm going to do it, and will embarrass my children. Because as
Mm,
I keep explaining to them, this is the natural course of things. Is like, this is what
mhm.
I'm going to do, and you're going to have to get used to it and try not to be embarrassed by things. Like I said, I was super insecure growing up. I get it. I would have been horrified, but either I'm making that a lot worse for them or a lot better, and time will tell. We'll find out.
I presume maybe you're giving out some candy tomorrow if your mother-in-law, takes a break. Are you making kids say thank you and trick or treat, or are you just a nice guy who
Yeah,
gives
what are you
them
fucking
candy
talking
along?
about? Do you know how much? So I was coaching Henry's baseball team, the 9-year-olds, and every parent brings a snack afterwards, and it's very thoughtful, but money is short these days. And so, for parents to bring anything, it's amazing. We're well past the bring healthy snacks at this point. It's like, Jesus Christ. And these kids pack up their shit, run over there and grab the bags and run away. And I'm like, get the fuck back here and say thank you to those parents and then thank them for bringing you. And they're like, well, all right, the whole experience is ruined. No, I don't fuck around.
I have been online less. I'm trying to. Actually, it's a lie. I've not been online less. I would like to be online less.
The way
Um,
you just backtracked on that was incredible. Just live.
I am on social media less, more or less, but I was like, I forgot how this time of year, there's always the social media Halloween bits and pieces where, like, for instance, it's like, put up the sign for the purple. I don't know if you guys have the teal pumpkin. You know what that is? That's for the kids with food allergies. So if you put a sign in your window that has a picture of a teal pumpkin, it says that we have non-food treats. And, so you get like maybe glow sticks or temporary tattoos. I did that for the last several years because the internet told me that you need to provide a non-food treat. Not a single fucking person ever took me up on it. So I had all these dried up skull tattoos. Then the other internet of it all is like, it's ableist to make kids say trick or treat or thank you because like many kids like can't do it. Which I know that's true, but I feel like it's not so widespread. I feel like you could tell when you get a kid who cannot say trick or treat or thank you. And
Just read
anyway,
the room. Just
that's
read
the
the.
internet of it all, of
I'm
Halloween.
not going to corner each one. Again, we talked about, the shame thing. Like, if there are three are standing there and two say trick or treat, I'm not going to be like, let's go, Zorro. What the fuck?
Mhm.
Speak up. But, I'm like, yeah, say thank you. I'll yell at my kids. I know they can say trick or treat like that 100%. If they're running away from that door, they just grab some shit out of a bucket and turn around and run. You are going right back.
Yeah.
And you're going to remember, as I always tell them, God, they hate this shit. I say, who's the thank you for? Is it for you or is it for them? Give it to them. God, they fucking hate it.
I love how you anything not fun. I truly admire
Oh,
it.
I'll ruin anything. And that's
Um,
without talking about climate change. So speaking of taking anything and making it not fun, let's be realist for a second. How is trick-or-treating going to go down tomorrow night in the fine city of Chicago?
Good question. Yeah, ICE was in the neighborhood yesterday in my kid's school, and vibes are bad. Chicago, that's why they have trick or treating like at stores and things like that. Because like for the folks who don't maybe don't feel safe or don't have places like that. So yeah.
ICE is at your fucking church like 2 days ago. No one is immune to this. I don't want to
Ugh.
be a downer about it. I just want to be a realist that I think a lot of parents are. And again, this will come out afterwards. And I would love to hear about your experiences, if any, which would be great. If folks have anything like that, what did you talk to your kids about or their friends or watch out for this?
It's interesting because I have a friend who she is a witch and she lives in Chicago and her family's very progressive and they have a son they adopted from Korea and he's 14 now and he just of his own accord, he loves law enforcement people. He just likes them a lot and he's dressed up like a SWAT, guy. And she has such mixed feelings about this for various reasons. But she also was like, like he's a good, nice kid. Like this is what he wants to dress up as. But she has, you know what I mean?
No, these cocksuckers have ruined everything for everybody.
Yeah. And I mean, luckily for us, like we have a friend and neighbor who is a former SWAT and he is like a great guy and a cool guy. And it's like one of the good guys, so it's like nice to know someone who like can speak that language and can talk about what it's actually like to work in law enforcement like that and know that they're not just like an asshole who has been waiting to get paid to abuse someone. And I think there's a lot of people who are like, their kids might want to dress up as something and you're like, "Ooh." But that's very much, I think we talk about consistently about how your kid is not you, and, your kid might be basic bitch or cringe and whatever. And maybe you can't really explain to a 5-year-old who wants to dress like a cop or whatever, or, G.I. Joe, like why that makes you feel weird as a woke parent. That might not be appropriate for your little kid. I don't know. Like I said, surfer and hot dog, we are really getting
Correct.
off easy here.
Yeah, no, check the box for sure. To pivot back to the not right now of all of it,
Mhm.
how was your vacation in the woods by yourself without anything?
It was amazing. My friend and I, we go to this place called Postcard Cabins. They used to be called Getaway, and now Marriott Bonvoy owns them, which is a drag, but
Did they
they
ruin it?
no. First of all, it used to be called Getaway, which was so much more fun because you'd be like, "We're gonna go on our getaway," and now you're like, "Postcard Cabins," like but they are these sort of like IKEA trailers arranged in a little campground sort of area, and it basically costs the same as a hotel room, but it's like a tiny cabin with huge windows, and you see only trees, and it has heating and air conditioning, and a beautiful bed, and a hot shower, and it comes with a fire pit, and the fire pit comes stocked with wood, and there's some pots and pans, and so I always call it camping, but without all the bullshit. But she and I, we always like race to get there the second that we have check-in time because it feels like you are just wasting time if you let even 10 minutes go by. But you go and you bring your food and It was amazing. I don't
And
know,
you're in separate postcard cabins? Okay.
we're in separate cabins. The cabins are named after the grandparents of the people who run the sites. So mine was Dottie and hers was called Ed. So we would go and wake up and maybe watch a show, read, look out the window. And then maybe around lunchtime, we'd text and say, hey, you want to come over and hang out for a little bit? And there's a beautiful little man-made pond nearby. So you take a stroll over there and you listen to the birds. And like truly what I love is you get so used to the rhythm of picking shit up, washing clothes, filling the dishwasher, emptying the dishwasher, it becomes second nature that to just not do that, to just be still, to not talk to anyone. That was truly the best part was like there was, I think of my second to last day, I built a fire and I love building a fire. Like I like tending it. So it's so simple, and then I just stared at it. And I was like, in another world, I'd be getting up and like getting a drink, getting a book, this and that. I'm just staring. I'm not doing anything. And that is so having the quiet, having my own space, being completely autonomous. It was beautiful. There's nothing better to me. I need it so much.
I've got some questions on best practices here because you've done this a few times, all with the same person.
I did it once with Steve, and I like Steve, but he's a
That was
big
one of my
man.
questions.
It was harder to share the space with someone, and I have gone by myself without sharing someone. So,
But otherwise, got to be the right person and they should have their own space.
yeah, she talked about this a lot because my friend lives out in the western suburbs, and she says she knows a lot of women who find the concept of traveling by yourself, let alone like staying in the woods by yourself, inscrutable, either in terms of fear of being murdered or not knowing what to do with yourself or feeling guilty, if you can't leave your family alone. So we always reflect over like feeling glad that we know to do this for ourselves, that we can do this, that our spouses are not calling us every minute, being like, where's the, where's the ice? And we always end up accidentally reflecting on how our spouses are good parents as well. I think that's probably a good thing for the parents. And then, of course, for the parents, like it's a pain in the ass to do all the, to be alone. But as we always mention, like it's kind of easier sometimes without two parents there. So the dads are home being heroes, but at the
Sure.
same time, like doing fun shit.
What percentage of a day do you two spend doing things together or at least being adjacent to each other, not in your cabins, versus what percent is like on your own time?
Probably 15 to 20% together, just like either walking down to the pond together or sitting by the fire. But otherwise, it's just nice to like, we always say like, what did you do today? And she did some writing, and I'm reading Anna Karenina, which I'm like very proud of. So I read some more of that huge book, and we'll cheer each other on. And sometimes working on creative stuff, like she took over the show that I used to run. Because some years ago I was saying like, I don't have it in me, kind of lost my joy. And she's like, this is crazy, but what if I took it over? And I was like, you would be perfect because you would do it really well and you would give a shit about it. So sometimes we accidentally talk about creative stuff as well. So she has two daughters who are slightly younger than mine. So we always end up kind of like comparing each other. I always try to convince her to write a book because she had an experience as a caddy, a golf caddy, which I don't hear a lot of women's stories about that, but she's reluctant to write it. But I'm going to force her to write that book one of these days.
That would be a book. Do you each go, and again, this will be different for everyone, but I think traveling with friends, you realize these are great friends. These are great friends we can travel with because we might have the same expectations or energy or whatever. But you're saying like 20% of the time together, that's great. Do you each go in with an intention where you're like, on this trip, I'm going to be reading Anna Karenina?
No, we don't. I personally don't try to do anything. Many years ago, I used to be more about trying to get stuff done on these kind of trips.
But I mean, like intentional leisure. Like it doesn't have to be work, but where you're like, I'm looking forward to this book and that's when it's going to happen.
Yeah, I bring the book. I have a backup book in case I decide that one's not good. Crossword puzzles for the in-between time. I brought one serious movie. I download. They don't have Wi-Fi, so you have to download anything ahead of time that you want to watch. So I downloaded this very quiet, kind of artsy movie with Paul Mescal called After Sun. It was very much a mood, but then I knew I'd want something stupid. So I also had several episodes of Below Deck Mediterranean, and that was a good one. But yeah, my goal was to like do as much active, anything. I'm not working out. And, walking is for digestion and for sunshine, not for exercise. So yeah, I was like, it would be a waste. If anything, I'm most pleased when I'm not doing anything, when I just stare out the window, or stare at the fire. That's when I'm like, that's when I'm really getting my money's worth because I don't do that here.
2 nights?
3 nights.
3 nights. That's awesome.
Well, check-ins are 4, so day 1 is bullshit, so,
Especially this time of year, yeah.
let's just say if we were the kind of people who, like, maybe took a like a sort of chemical or something like that, it's just nice to have one last day of getting out of your system before you have to hit the road and concentrate on driving, so that's a big part of
Totally.
it as well.
No, that's smart. That's smart.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to, if you were to do something like that, you don't want to have to temper it by being like, oh, I got to fucking pack up at 7 in the morning and get the fuck out of here and go deal with kids. Why? You ruined the whole thing.
No, it's amazing because, like, we will hang out and come home to my room at midnight, and I'll take a shower, and then blast music. It really is like living by yourself for a couple of days, which is not for everyone, but it is for me, for sure. And, traveling with people can be tricky. I used to do a retreat with some friends. We haven't done it for a couple of years, but one year that was kind of tense, and I got mad because 3 of our friends don't have kids, 2 of us do. I perceived that some of us were doing some more housework in the house we were renting than others. And I accidentally sent a group text to everyone I was with. And I think I meant to send it to someone else saying, why are the moms doing all the fucking work? And then I realized that it had gone to the women I was staying with. And I just had to own it. I couldn't be like,
how was that handled? Did you hear everybody's phones going off throughout the house?
2 of them were like, yeah, like I just said, like, I'm sorry, I fucked up. I was mad. I said it, and one, I think it took a little bit of time to recover, but
also do the dishes, Sally. What the fuck?
Yeah, don't make the moms do the dishes. Take turns. That is the rule. Is that if you are
Sorry,
cooking,
not
you're
sorry.
No, not at all. And it was a good like coming of age because I feel like as I got older in life, like sometimes you backtrack or try to hide things or say you made a mistake or someone hacked me, and then this was time to be like, you know what? I was mad, and I apologize if this came out rough, but this is also how I felt, and
Yeah.
like
Wouldn't have had
that's
to
it.
happen. Do the dishes,
Yeah.
flush the toilet. It's not
I wish I had
complicated.
said that in college to the 5 hookers I lived with. They're not hookers. They're all, of course, like high achieving women, but
Still,
that
we're holding on to
yeah.
that. We'll hold on to any of that stuff.
Does Dana travel by her? I know she has to travel for work, but would she do something like that? Go do something,
Not
kinda far-flung?
necessarily because she is, a workaholic a bit. Like, it's hard for her to shut it down. So we got to really be pretty intentional, whether it's with me or also with the kids. Her trips, ever since we moved 4 years ago, which is crazy, are really like, and I think we've talked about this, but what she tries to do is she, for a couple months ahead of time, says to everybody, I have to come for 1 or 2 things. Let's add 5 things to that and make it, instead of 3 days, 5 days. Because 3 days traveling there is a pain in the ass as it is for her. So 5, sure, fuck it, who cares? Because like you said, I got it at home. It's just logistics. Like, it doesn't matter. We'll miss her, but go do you. Because what she does is, and she even did this week, she literally stayed with 3 different friends. She'll never stay in a hotel because she's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, 1, it's expensive, and 2, it's an opportunity to, again, either stay with 2 friends or 1 friend or 3.
Yeah.
She will spend more time with that person who has a job and works just by being around them at bedtime and breakfast than she would have in 6 months of us living there.
Yeah.
When you're driving around, getting your hair done, meetings and shit and kids and all that.
Going to Walgreens together. That's a good hang.
She
actually.
knows you don't need to call. Like, you want to say hi to the kids? Great. But we're not going to fucking bother you unless like we absolutely have to for some reason. And I got, again, this was just our 15th anniversary last week. You learn this stuff, right? And we've learned it over the time. Like, it used to be really hard. When she was making Home Before Dark in 2018 and the kids were like 3, 4, and 5, she would leave on Sunday afternoon, fly to Vancouver, 6 a.m. shoot on Monday. And then with the 12-hour turnarounds, basically they wouldn't finish shooting till like Saturday, 4 a.m. She would get on the plane, come back, arrive at their soccer practice at 3 p.m. Kids would let out all their emotions. And then Sunday morning, she's like, I got to go. That was a fucking nightmare. And one of those would be hard. They were young. They get it. But that was the life. Now it's like, go get them. Have fun with your friends. I called the other day. She's like, I'm at dinner with my friends. I was like, don't pick up the phone. I don't care.
So Harley was worried something was going on.
So that's her version of that. I genuinely don't think she could shut it down like that. We can shut it down together. And we kind of did last weekend. But even then was like paired to a work thing. And that's fine. I used to hold it against her in a really shitty way. And she used to hold the opposite against me. And then you grow up.
Well, because your kids are little and you're exhausted.
And there's expectations. And now it's like, it doesn't nothing matters, Claire. There's no rules. There's no moral. There's nothing. And so we're just like, if this is how I can take care of you, great. And for her, I'm just like, great. Who you staying with? Have a great time. Bye.
Yeah.
Come home when you come home. She's barely getting home for Halloween. And I'm like, I think it's fine.
Yeah, this Halloween, kids don't, they're not like, Well, I did get a lot of candy, but my mom wasn't home, so it was a bad
No,
Halloween.
so that is our version. I could totally do it. Like I've told you, my best friend and I will disappear and go do shit. But my brother gave me a postcard pack cabin's gift certificate when it was Getaway, and I haven't used it yet.
You have to use it. It is so nice.
I
So,
gotta find one near me.
2 questions for you. One is an observation. I totally log off with my family. Like, Paul had a football game, and Steve gave me, like, one score update, but to be honest, God, I was so glad not to be at football. I'm sorry, I just was. And then, my friend checks in with her family and chats, and I'm like, "Why check?" Like, you're breaking the seal, Like,
Don't break the seal. Don't break the
no.
seal. Give a mouse a cookie, man.
Yeah, and I know they don't really miss me, and I don't mean that in they're glad I'm gone, but, like, when I come home, no one's like, "Oh god, like, this is all a disaster without you here to hug us," but that is part of it, is just being out of touch, because so much of parenting right now for me is just handling logistics and email and saving dates, and, like, tomorrow is the get to school for the Halloween parade, then quickly take the kids home to my parents' house so they can ring the doorbell and then go back to trick-or-treating, and then Paul has a Halloween party after trick-or-treating, and my friend and I go walking, we stop for a second, and I'm just, like, listening to the wind in the trees. I was, like, the quiet, and just being by yourself. But my question for you is, what did you guys do for your anniversary? And did you give Dana some sexy lingerie, like her push present?
I hope that stuff was burned a long time ago. What a fucking dipshit. She had to be in Austin for the film festival. We'd never been down there. Neither of us really makes an effort to visit Texas. Sorry, listeners. Deal with it.
They'd probably be like, understandable.
Yeah, I don't care. This is, again, beauty of being old and tired. Don't care. She had to be down there for 2 days. Real first sort of wicked press stuff. Great. It was on our anniversary. So I said, do you want me to come? She's like, please do. Went because I love watching her talk. It's actually great. It makes me really happy. No one else is asking me questions. I get to see the joy it brings her, et cetera, et cetera. And then I was like, okay, well, that is like a Thursday. I said, I know shit is crazy. I always ask the woman who produces with her first. And I just say, because Dana's scheduled, can't keep track. I just say, can I have Friday? Can that be mine? She'll check and she'll tell me honestly. And she said, yeah. So I said Friday and Saturday. So I booked us this little resort spa place. And so we just went from Austin to that because when else are we going to go there? And I mean, slept 10 hours a night, crossword puzzles. She was in the spa the entire time, which is great for her. I got some exercise in and read 3 books, and that's fine for us. That's good for us. It was 2 nights, and we'll take it. Would I want a week again? Yeah, but we haven't done that in a while, but it's been a bit much. Wicked is so consumed, like a genuine, like last month, it was 6 months of the year. If we're lucky, going to be that again this year. Next year, we'll talk about doing some more time. Just next year is actually her 50th. So
Does she think about doing something like a big
we've
thing?
talked about it generally over the past few years, and there's ideas, but I think it's been hard to kind of picture it. But now I'm like, you want to do something. We got to figure that out. So I'm game for whatever. So again, maybe that takes up that time next year, but it's fine. It's fine.
So one chat I had with my friend was that she was saying the window is closing for her and her husband to have more kids. She was like contemplating that she could maybe get one more out of it. And her youngest is 6 and my friend is 43. And I don't know, I was off the wagon this weekend, so I was a little bit stoned. So maybe I was like just being whatever. I would probably say this anyway, but she was contemplating a 3rd baby. And we were sort of talking about how when you're older, if you have a newborn, you got to start from scratch socially because your old friends are not, they're not doing potty training and they're not doing car seats and all that kind of stuff. But first thing that came to my mind was, do you really want to go back to a rear facing car seat? And she was like, oh, all right. You know what? Never mind. I'm like,
it's the stuff you forget about. All the things you internalize when you're in it and then you forget about. It's crazy. Do you want to put wipes on auto delivery again? Do you
want to get like major furniture that you will only keep for a couple of years, like a glider? I don't know if you guys still have you must have had like at least one glider, right? Between your
we have 3 kids under 3. It was fucking chaos.
Did you keep it or is it gone? Did you get rid of it?
I think we gave it to some friends.
Yeah,
we keep some keepsakes, but we tried to ditch all that stuff.
Yeah, but imagine having to start with that all over again, or daycare. I mean, not daycare is like a real thing. I mean, I'm talking like just appointments, like going to that many appointments. I don't think I could have it in me. I love other people's babies and it's wild to me. Yeah, of course, everyone's babies are better than your own babies because, it's like eating at a restaurant. You walk and leave the mess behind.
The rear-facing car seat's a big one because here's the thing, and I don't know if you guys went this far, you forget when they're the babies, you don't take them out of the car seat. You take the car seat out, and as 4,000
it.
fucking pounds. And then you're like, Doc, why does my back hurt? Because you're 43 and you had a baby.
Yeah.
And look,
ET
more power
after
to you. I get it. We did IVF, the whole thing. If you really want it and you can't, and you've wanted to, and great, babies are amazing. We need more babies. Or it's all over. It doesn't matter. Best wishes. But yeah, it's fucking hard.
being a first-time parent and wondering what kind of strollers to need and, like, how money, and like, you need a jogging I mean, I guess that would be one good thing about doing it all over again is, like, there'd be some, like, piddling shit that you would be like, "Alright, I would never get, like, a hair and comb set like I got for Paul." Like, that was on my registry because, like, I have brushed that child's hair maybe 4 times in my entire life.
The other day, Dana said, Henry, I gotta ask, you did just take a shower. I watched you go in and out. Like, why is your hair that texture?
Mhm.
You just took a shower. He's like, yeah, I don't know. I just took a shower. And then she goes, but did you use shampoo? He's like, oh no, I never use that. It always gets in my eyes. And she was like, what do you mean never? He's like, I've never, like years. I do not use shampoo. We're like, okay. Got it. Check.
That's why your head smells like hair oil. Yeah, James has had BO right from the shower, and I've had to say I let him use some very fancy bath gel of mine because I just didn't want the scent, and I was like, "But you need to use the soap for your butthole." I have a friend, and I was like, "This is actually a good idea." Her kids were doing such a shit job cleaning themselves. They're
Literally.
boys. She said, "If you don't start cleaning yourself correctly, I'm gonna put on a swimsuit and get in the shower with you and show you how to do it." And that is that good?
I'm going to say that to my children. It's going to be
And
so upset. I can't wait. If you make it hard, I'll make it hard. Like I don't care about anything.
can I ask you a disgusting, maybe this will make it on the pod or not?
Nothing matters. Go.
Okay. Was it weird to learn to take care of a girl's body parts when you had a girl baby?
No, I just wanted to make sure I did it. It wasn't weird to me. No, I was among the first of my friends to have kids, but not the first. And a couple friends had daughters. And I just literally was like, how does this work? Like, how does this work? And they were like, you got to make sure you wipe front to back genuinely, or else, like we talked about with the jerking off, like it becomes your problem and they're miserable and then they're crying for another reason. So just do that. No, I don't think so. Again, there's basic stuff. They're just fucking babies to me. I mean, boys are almost more of a pain. Like if you don't point that penis up in the diaper, or I mean, if you don't point it down, nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because we haven't had to go through this, but I have friends who that either didn't circumcise their kids, but then they had to later on because they had foreskin issues. And I know at least 2 friends who had to re-circumcise their kids because the first one didn't take.
This is fucking
like,
Braveheart. Jesus.
What a nightmare. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into circumcision as a nice light topic, but having grown up around a brother and around a dad, I don't love a penis. It's not my favorite thing, but I was like, well, I know how it kind of works and what it looks like.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, I don't know. It seemed less complicated almost because I was like, this is as simple as this situation's ever going to be. Now no one talks to me about it.
I remember Louis C.K. prior to when we knew everything about him. I think he did a bit about how no one tells you when you're a dad that you have to clean poop out of a girl's vagina. And that was something that I was like, ooh, that's one experience that I'm not sad to miss. But I was like, well, I'm sure that's a mind fuck for some guys.
I guess so. I don't know how genuinely, like practically in the moment when you're talking about, do you want to go back to a rear facing car seat? You're so fucking tired and you're so in it. Is the first time you change a diaper, which they never tell you, doesn't smell bad because they haven't started eating real food yet. And then that's when it gets bad. Like, it's just the way of your life at that point. I don't know how that is any different, much less any worse than I was telling Oliver the other day, we're walking through a parking lot and somehow we got to yada, 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 like the way you used to shit all the way up your back into your hair on planes. And he was like, yeah, but I mean, I never did that. I was like, every time. And we planned around it. He's like, why did you have extra clothes for me? Why do you think? Because it takes 45 minutes in the bathroom. And I don't think you understand. Everything is ruined. Yeah, and extra clothes for me. I was like, that's it. So I don't know, like wiping poop out of a vagina.
Getting a shitty onesie off over a baby's head. Like, I'm shocked. And I was like, you're like, either I'm going to have to whisk this shit-ass thing over the baby's head, or I'm going to have to get scissors and cut it off. But I can't operate scissors.
Because I'm in an airplane bathroom. He's like, why didn't you just put me under the sink? I was like, you're right. Why didn't I just fucking like, Jesus Christ.
There's also a much greater chance that I would, just based on how my brain is lately, like, there's a good chance I would leave a baby in the car, like, at this day and age.
Yeah. Yeah, I've probably got a baby in the car right
So you have 3, so you have 1
That's where
just
you have
to,
3.
an
Yeah,
extra.
no, that didn't. But I mean, you still got to get poop out of ball crevices and penis, a gun again with the circumcision. Good luck with the poop around it. It's all a nightmare, but it's what you signed
Yes.
up for. It gets so much harder from there, to be clear.
Alright, so what else were we gonna talk about today besides candy and shitty vaginas?
Family costumes. We don't do family costumes. I want to do it one time. That's my goal. This is how I'm like running a marathon. I want to do it once. We have 2 families in our lives who fucking nail it. Every year I'm like, the buy-in from everyone, the level of detail and commitment, and it's fantastic. I would love to do it once.
Really? Well, that's past for us, and now I'm back to just being a hater where I'm like, "Well, that's for the Instagram. That's not really, like, for your family. That's for you so that you can put it on Instagram so that your friends will be like, 'You guys are awesome,'"
I guess, but we don't put our kids, for us, it's about celebrating the arts, Claire,
Mm,
and people expressing themselves.
okay. Yeah, the culture and everything like that. Now, I've seen some good ones, like, one of my favorite ones was from Trunk or Treat a couple years ago, and there was a dad dressed like Tom Hanks in A League of Their Own, and then the mom was, like, dressed like Madonna, and the
Mhm.
baby was wearing, like, a little baby Savannah Peaches, shirt, like, jersey, and that was incredibly cute. That was a good one
I'm
where,
down for that. God, that movie's
Mhm.
so good.
Yeah, it is good. My
That
boys love
movie's
that movie.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, our friends have done, like, Goonies, they've done Bond villains, some great ones. Yeah, one time.
Okay.
But I don't know, nobody talks to me, so it doesn't matter.
Steve and I, we were laughing because yesterday morning we had one of those like dumb married couple fights where I fucking hate you. Like, get out of here. I won't even say goodbye to you when you leave the house. He
Mhm.
said, like, I'm leaving now. And I said, okay. And we kind of rehashed the fight later on. And I was saying how stupid it was. And we were laughing. But Steve was like, no, it's deadly serious. He had gotten up and he was tired, which he always is. And he doesn't sleep well. And I said, you should see a sleep doctor. You might need a CPAP machine. And he said, no, it's my anxiety. It keeps me up at night. And I said, well, maybe you should take your anti-anxiety pill in the morning instead of at night. And he said, I try to. And I said, all right, fine. He just like went too angry for some reason because I was like, I can't believe it's my load, this lot in life to hear this man talk about how tired he is every day, which was not actually a hard thing, but sometimes certain, you know, Wednesday mornings, it is not what you want to be doing. So we were like mad at each other. And then later on, we're like, okay, that was a dumb married person fight. But since Dana travels so much and you seem like a much nicer person, do you guys have those kind of, what are that?
Yeah,
What
no,
topic
I'm usually the problem one way or another. Either I have started the fight by existing or because I will in my head go, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. And then I say it and I go, here we go. What did you fucking expect? You're an idiot. Tried to do less. Yeah, I mean, totally we have those things. And it's almost always because we're just so fucking tired. Not to come
Yeah.
back to you telling the story about Steve being tired, but it's just both, you're just exasperated about 400 other things. And yes, this thing is annoying because you've chosen to live with this person for the rest of your life. Best wishes. And some of these things are annoying and they add up, or they're annoying in the moment, or they're just like you didn't think through it or whatever it is. Or, mine will not always be, but like she already knows she fucked something up and I will remind her. And it's
Mm.
like, why? No,
You know what's a good
that's
one?
totally unnecessary.
Wives love it if they fuck something up and then you ask them why they did that. That's always like a good probing question. Try it. See how that goes.
Yeah, it's always the dumbest shit. And we too, like I half the time now, for I think both of our sakes, I just walk out and I'll go on a walk around our neighborhood and 10 minutes into it, one of us will call the other and be like,
Yeah.
"Fucking
I mean,
idiots."
and they're not as bad as if people are listening who have younger kids. It's so much worse when your kids are very young because you are so tired and you
Oh,
have
God,
so
yeah.
little control. And it takes a lot of energy to articulate yourself and to wait, like you said, to like take that walk or to just know to shut it, not to have the last word or to bring up the old thing. But when you are tired, you don't have those skills. And so that's why it seems like you're
It's
fighting so much more.
impossible. Yeah, to folks listening, is there an element of it's better to talk it out than to just give up? Sometimes. Sometimes, like the other night, all the kids were mad at me. Again, probably my fault and probably their fault. Dana had to listen to all of it. Like one of the things we're dealing with, and I think I mentioned it, is that now our house for a year is also where she works, which was a fine situation for her for 3 years. And now we're here. And the kids are like, well, but she's right around the corner. I'm like, that's not her fucking fault. That's her office.
Mhm.
There's no version of us like figuring out somewhere else mom can work. Go fuck yourselves. When the door's closed, don't go in. We're fighting about this and all this, and I'm trying to protect her. I'm mad at them, but I'm also like, but it is dinner time. Could you get off the phone for 10 fucking minutes so we can deal with these two? I'll still put them to whatever. It's all dumb. And eventually I literally just in the middle of it just walked into the bedroom and gently closed the door and I got under the covers and I was like, if they need me. And then I woke up in the morning because no one wanted to talk to me anymore. And it was better if I wasn't part of it.
Uh,
Whether it was like the fight with her, with him about this and this, I was like, I'm going to remove myself because I know I'm not making it better and I'll make it worse because fuck them and I'll make sure they know that. I don't know.
no.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
believe in the rule of never go to bed angry. Like, I think sometimes you just got to go to bed and you won't be angry in the morning and the sleep takes care of that. Like, why drag out some argument, especially when you're like, I know I'm just tired and I'm sick of you guys. There's no talking through it. It's just, we need
But
some
by the way,
rest.
even if half the time it is a legitimate grievance on anyone's part or it goes both ways or whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Right.
matter. We're so old, Claire. No, we don't have hopes and ambitions and like none of this. It doesn't fucking matter. Even if you
Yeah.
have a grievance, congrats, put it in the box. No one's going to read it. Go to bed.
Yeah. That was part of the reason why I was so glad to get out of town because Steve and James were having, they were just like not, like Steve had just lost that layer of protective fat that helps you handle a 10-year-old
Yeah.
boy with ADHD. And so
Yeah.
he was just like falling for the bait constantly. And I was as sick of Steve as I was of James. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna get out of here because I'm sick of hearing you guys. And also I'm sure that one fewer person in the house is gonna make everything easier, and it seemed like it was. But, it was the old James forgot about a project and he fucked it up, and then Steve's helping him with it, but he's mad, and I was like, "Just let James
It's
up,"
a
and
toxic brew. And
yeah.
some of it's inevitable and you're going to just deal with it. And that'll be what your kids talk to their therapist about, among many other things. But yeah, I just try to remove myself. I know I'm very rarely like the helpful linchpin of the operation.
Do you have rules about arguing in front of the kids?
Dana really hates it. I totally get it. And they, as you know, they pick up on fucking everything. So yeah. And then again, it'll usually be my fault.
Mm.
But again, I don't know. Even just saying out loud, I'm just like, just walk away.
Well, we do argue in front of the kids sometimes, and I mean, it's as I say out loud, I'm like, it's not toxic arguing, just in that no one's drunk or there's no fighting below the belt. And I'm like, you know what? I think it's actually important for kids to see, as long as again you're sort of fighting by gentleman's rules, that like
Well,
you
100%. We'll do that. Conversations, or I'll just be like, this is not an argument. Like, we're just trying to figure this out and we're tired and it's complicated. Like, they need to see you work. Like, this shit is hard. As I told you, I will frequently pull up my entire calendar on a big screen and go, kids, I understand you want to go to Jeff's house on zero notice, but like, this is what I'm fucking dealing with every day. And,
yeah.
sorry, sometimes we're going to wrestle with it. You and me and her and this. That's it. You got to deal with it. It's not easy.
Yeah. No, I guess I thought my parents never said sorry to me. And not like parents, that sounds very entitled, but even when I think they owed me, and so I try to show kids like it's okay to be mad and okay to even be a jerk. Not okay to be a jerk, but if you can come back and say you're sorry, like that is more important than never fighting.
No, I think that shows you more grown up than not fighting. And again, when I say like I extricate itself, it's because not that I won't like, I don't want to say stand my ground or like reinforce whatever, but I'm just like, we have reached the point where it only gets worse and nothing is achieved here.
Yeah.
And that's when I just do the Homer into the bushes thing. And
Yes.
nobody misses me, to be clear.
I saw a sweater for sale on Instagram that is, I would never buy it because it's so cheesy, but it's the Homer disappearing into the woods. It's a green fleece jacket, and then the Homer is like sort of embedded into it, so it looks like he is like disappearing into the jacket. I was like, it's pretty good. All
That's
right,
me from Society.
whenever you grow a beard, which again, well, actually, I am growing a light beard right now because I am taking hair regrowth medication, so I
That's
have a little bit
exciting.
more facial hair. Maybe
Does
you
that
can
stuff
tell.
work in 2025?
I think so. I had been seeing more of my scalp and it was really shiny and I didn't care for that. And then whenever I take a shower, I was thinking about you because I was like, you probably have a lot more hair in your house than I do. You probably know better than my husband does the feeling of washing dishes and then feeling like a long hair
yeah.
attached to your hand.
Yeah.
But I would take a shower. My little habit is I pull it through so that I stick it to the shower wall,
Oh yeah, I'm
twirl it up,
familiar with
and
that.
then throw it in the garbage. But I was pulling out like chunks and
That's great.
yeah. Thank you. But I have more arm hair, more face hair, more nostril hair. It's really coming in all over, which is fine. Winter's
Well, I guess
coming,
that's the
so
trade-off, right? But it's like,
yeah.
it's nice that something that they seem to have made progress on. Maybe not solved.
For me, for men, it's like almost a mistake.
No, but I
that
mean,
I'm
just in
enjoying
general,
it,
like
but
on the list of things that are complicated, making hair follicles work again. We could figure that out, right?
yeah, I'll take it. I for sure will. I'll take a medicine to solve any problem. Like I'm grateful that I don't take Ozempic just so that I don't have the time to investigate it and get it and give it to myself. But I'm also like, hell, whatever the hell, I'll take a
Doesn't
pill for my
matter.
skin, for my hair, for my heart. like my ovaries, whatever. Let's get into
Yeah,
it,
don't.
So,
Or my other thing is just take it out. Whatever the organ
yeah.
is that's not working, just take. I don't want to deal with it anymore. Like, just
Yeah.
not right now, but for like my kidney.
Did you get a mastectomy? Is that too much? Is that too personal?
No, I don't care about that. Guys got to talk about this shit. I did not. I offered to and was told don't, which was interesting. This was like 5 years ago. And I was like, did I just call your bluff? And she was like, I don't know. It just feels final. I'm like, I don't know. I told you we have one in the freezer that's like 15 years old. So it shouldn't matter. I don't know if it's because she doesn't want me out of commission for 2 days or it just feels like jinxing the operation. But I'm like, they're 10, 11, and 12 now. Like, I think we're good. Like, again,
no.
you know what I'll say to her? Would you like to go back to a rear-facing car seat? And she'll take the scissors out herself, probably, because she hated those things so much. You picked the heaviest car seats we could possibly buy. I was like, they're the safest ones. That's why they're so heavy. Well, I can't lift them, so you're going to be the one that gets them out of the car. I'm like, I'll be the one who gets them out of the car. And I'm like, back hurts. And she's like, fuck you. And now they're older.
And also, I don't think you can actually, I think all car seats are kind of the same too. I think I've learned. I feel like it's not legal to sell a car seat that doesn't work. Like,
well, we had a really good fight once. She's got a little hoarder in her, just a little bit.
Well, stuff is good. Stuff can be nice.
Well, because God, I'm such a pain in the ass, Claire. Purging, but also, God, this
holier than thou purging.
You could just see her eyes glazing back in her head. This was years ago. I walk up to the doorstep from work, and there's a couple random car seats on our front door. They're old. They're older, used, clearly, but like in okay condition. And I know either the second they've been in any sort of accident or they're past this expiration date, you're not supposed to use them at all. Toss them like a bike helmet, whatever. Most people don't. I acknowledge that. I go in, hey, I tried to be gentle, told myself, don't fucking do it, bud. And I said, some car seats outside. I was like, so are they for someone else? Because we've got enough for all 3 kids in 2 cars. Well, she's like, oh, well, my friend was giving them away, so I thought I'd take them just in case we need them. Yeah. One, we don't. And then it was like the don't say it thing. I said, okay, but just so you know, it does say if the manufacturer date, whatever it was, 5 years,
just
10
so you
years,
know,
whatever it is. So technically, we're not supposed to use them. And it was just silence.
Oh,
and I was like, oh,
before she thanked you.
I mean, I could just hear her like going through her head every mistake she has made in choosing me as her partner, knowing I was going to say that. Should never have brought him home because she knew I was going to say that. But now she's going to fucking keep him because I mean, the whole thing in 10 seconds of silence. Meanwhile, I'm just like, what an idiot. Like, what a fucking idiot.
She's like, I'm going to get some more car seats now, too.
All once.
I mean, car seats are fucking huge. That is like, I could see, and you do have an expired car seat, you should be allowed to take it, I believe, to your police station. And I think they recycle them.
Target used to, again, I'm old. It was a long time ago. But anyways, it's like just.
No, you really got me onto like a spiral about car seat. I never actually technically learned how to install a car seat properly. So
they made it. Congratulations.
Thankfully, like all the things worked out well. I have a friend who became an expert in cleaning car seats because her kid had horrible motion sickness. So he would always throw up all over himself in the car seat and like the deep clean of the car seat, And I remember I thought we were smart because we got hand-me-down car seats. But then, of course, you hear, well, you never know, and then I would never take that risk. And we're getting hand-me-down shoes and someone saying, isn't it going to fuck up your kid's feet? Which is like hilarious.
That shit.
So, yeah, I mean, I kind of wish I could have another kid just so I could do it again and be like, I don't give a fuck.
I'm batting 1,000. Yeah, don't give a fuck. Yeah, but get the crib, stuff it full of things, make it made out of
pillows.
Make the pieces too close together. Let's risk it all.
Yeah, leaving you in the car and you're gonna sleep face down.
We made it through the little ice age. I'm sorry. Fucking, this kid's gonna be fine. Probably.
Yeah. Maybe. You never know. But yeah, I could not do that all again. It is too hard. Life is too sad, like too hard. I don't have it in me to like, that's why we're gonna get a puppy, I think, so that we could have the bullshit and I can be mad, but like you can yell at a puppy a little bit and no one will.
But as my buddy Drew said, the first of us to has kids, he said, you know what the difference between a dog and a kid is? I was like, this could go anywhere. And he said, when you have a dog, it's a puppy for 2 years. And then if you do it right, it's just a dog for 10 years and you're good. But with a baby, every 6 months, you're like, I'm nailing it. And then you're not. And then until they're 40. So best wishes.
That's a young man's game, young woman's game. And we are closed for business. That is certainly sure. I have a friend who's my kid's age. And she said the dental hygienist asked if she was going to go for a girl. We were laughing. We were just having such a laugh. It's like as if even if you had a baby at
Like in
45.
kidnapping? Like what?
Well, and as if you have a girl and the girl is all of a sudden going to be like net negative work because she's going to be coming along like
Yeah, let's unpack that whole question.
yeah.
Perfect.
No, I always love that question too. And you're like, also, I almost died when I gave birth, so fuck on that.
Head to notrightnow.show for more, or send us feedback, questions, horror stories, doxing, whatever it is, at questions@notrightnow.show.